Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and here tonight we're supposed to fight CPS and stop taking our children. Yes, you heard me right. We have to fight CPS. What is happening is a government entity that has many different names in different counties, in different states, and different countries. I call it the CPS, which stands for the Child Protection Systems. There's a system that's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. But in some systems, they've gone overboard. They've become rogue. They found out that the niceness of money. So a lot of the CPSs that you're encountering are corrupt. And they only have one reason they really want to do is they want to make money. They've found out that it's easy to make money. The government right now does not um, have a watchdog on the CPS, the Child Protection Systems, which is really sad. I know that they're investigating social services. CPS was created by Congress and supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. And they delegated the social service to create that department and to have social workers trained and know how to work with families. But what I found out from my experience and many of you and the people that come here regularly, that it's totally different. It's really cruel with some of the cases that I've heard about. And it really hurts me to hear them, you know, um, have these horrendous bad times with the government entity is supposed to do family reunification, They're supposed to protect you from neglect and abuse. And they are, how they do it is they use the uh, mandated reporters, which are usually your professionals that work with children, like police and doctors and nurses and school teachers and principals and counselors. Anybody that works with children, those are called they are required by law. If they see abuse or neglect, they're supposed to charge it. And you're probably wondering, what is neglect? Well, some examples of neglect would be that children is not fed, the children is not proper clothing, the children is not bathed, the children goes around unsupervised, the children um, isn't taken to school. These are some of the things that the um, that bad parents have done. Now, with abuse, it's things like physical hurt to the child, like unnecessary shaking of the child's head, especially in infants when the brain is starting to grow, or they get anger and throw a child against the wall, or they take a stick or a cord or a rope and they spank excessively the child enough to cause welts and bleeding and those kinds of things. Or they punch a kid because they get angry. That is one of the terrible things about those things, neglect and abuse. So the other group of individual that reports this are your lay people, your family members, your other parents, your in-laws, your acquaintances, family and friends, the people like that. 50% of the time when they report is not true. Now, with the professionals, the mandated reports, 75% of the time they're true and 25 they're not. So what I'm saying is that the professionals who are educated and have to take these classes, know what they're doing, they do a better job. But it's sad that these um, uh, CPS workers only think about themselves and money. Now, this was mandated by Congress back in 1962, which is the modern era of government sponsored child protection services. So, really, it's been going on since the 1600s. They've divided into three periods: the 1600s to 1875, 1875 to 1962, and from 1962 to the present. And it's now the laws in the U.S. started in 1974. That's how late CPSs have started, but now they've gotten out of hand. And what I mean by that is that they're illegally trafficking our children. You see, the word trafficking is against the law, and they're illegally trafficking our children and putting them into foster care. Now, when someone appears or a case is called in, a CPS worker in that particular county on that state will investigate, and they have to within 24 hours. And they need to come up. But the problem being is the way they interpret the accusations, whether it comes from a professional or from a layperson. You're guilty until you're proven innocent. So before I get more into what CPS is all about or some history about it, I'd like to tell you how this live stream is set up. Now, I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I come on at during the weekdays. I come on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Then again, I come on at 7 p.m. In the Pacific Standard Time. Those are West Coast times in California, because I live about 3 blocks from the beach. And so I do this twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 live streams. And I've been doing this since October of 2023. It's over 17 months. So day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, I've been here. I've not missed a holiday or anything because I do it on the holidays too. I'm here because I care about you. I care about what is happening to you, and I want to share what I've learned. And I've been fighting CPS for 15 years. Now, this live stream was created by our attorney, Vincent W. Davis. He is a professional attorney. His background is juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. And he's fought CPS for 39 years and gotten back thousands of children back to their home. Recently, he's working on cases all over the place. I talk to him on a regular basis. And, I have been contacting, I've been doing some additional work for him, contacting potential new clients that want to retain him. So I talk to the clients further. And actually, I've had some of you on my live stream call in or talk to about that. And some of you right now that are regulars are hired Mr. Davis. I know that he has 3 or 4 of you that regularly come to my room here. Now, I want to talk about a couple things here. Besides being on twice a day and 7 days a week, on the weekend I come on at 8 in the morning, 8 to 9 in the morning. And so you can find out by contacting the office. I should tell you right there, I have the number. It's 888-888-6582. They tell you when Mr. Davis is going to be live streaming and when I am. But, if you find me on Facebook, Fighting CPS, it should direct you to this room. This room is YouTube, and we use this to broadcast our live stream. Now, we use the application called StreamYard. And that is the application you use. But this number that I'm giving you, 888-888-6582, is also a connection for a lot of things. You can get guides there and books. There's one important book that just came out new. It's called The Grandparents Guide, Step by Step in California, of how to get your guardianship of your grandchildren. And it's also a very good book for parents and for other states. It's available through that phone number, and it's also available through this website. Let me try to get it there for you. Sorry, I had the wrong one. There it is. It's called the Stand, thestand.store. And that's where you can find out a lot of information about Vincent Davis. He has a website, by the way. It's vincentwdavis.com. It's a good website. It'll take you to all these places in there. But he wants to help out people. He isn't strictly about making money or big dollars, those kinds of things, because he works really hard. He's been doing this for a long time. He's been in foster care himself. He's a trial attorney. And I really appreciate his hard work, his earnest to make things happen. And so you can call in if you want to retain him and talk to him. That's available. Also, there's a private consultation for 50 minutes for free, which I'll tell you about how to get that. There's a 30-minute consultation for $60 that he'll talk to you. So he offers, hour consultations. He offers help with cases and so forth. He has many programs and many packages, ranging from the cheapest thing is his $9.99 book that he's offering right now. That Grandparents Guide for $9.99 is half off if you use my discount code. It's called PACE50, capital P, capital A, capital C, capital E, and he'll give you 50% off $9.99, and you get that guide. There's consultations for $150, $297, $625. There's a package of 5 hours for less than $2,000. It's all kinds of things, and you can find that all on the website and so forth. And I try to tell you as much as I can. But there is another website called the sand.store/attorney/VWD. And that is an excellent place to start out. Because what's happening now with your CPS case, you are overwhelmed because you've never seen this entity, never heard about him. I was talking about one mother that was a terrible experience in Chicago, Illinois, where she grew up as a foster child at 16, and then she had 11 children of her own, and now she has one left. Anyway, she had been molested and raped and everything else, and she was just really beyond ends meet because no one would listen to her. She said all the attorneys she called would push her aside. And so I gave her some information, and she's thinking about somehow how to hire Mr. Davis in Chicago, Illinois. It is expensive. Mr. Davis will go anywhere in the United States, but he's in Arcadia, and that's in LA County. And he has cases in LA County, Orange County, San Bernardino County. He has them up in Kern County and Shasta. I know he has a case going to happen in Fresno, California. And he's working on a lot of fronts. He can also do cases in San Diego, Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, up to San Francisco, north beyond. He does cases in Arizona, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania. So I know he has a case or two out of the state and several cases in the state. And he is an excellent, excellent, excellent attorney there. Now, I want to welcome a person in this room here named Kathy Ripley. Welcome, Kathy. And Kathy is from Nova Scotia. So we got a Canadian. And as I told you, I have right now 21 countries and all 50 states. And one of the countries is Canada, and I've had 4 of the provinces. Good news to share. Visits reinstated with 3 belong to my 32-year-old daughter were taken due to bipolar and have 2 been returned from kinship care to my 30-year-old daughter. Taken on false information. 2 more to go. CPS is not going to win. Well, I'm so happy to hear about that, Kathy, and welcome again from Canada. As I mentioned, my countries are Indonesia, Bangladesh, India. In the Middle East, I got Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over in Africa, I got Liberia, I got Sudan, and then I got Rwanda, Mozambique, and of course, South Africa. I got several of the provinces. Going up to Canada, I got England, Scotland, and Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I have Canada and 4 provinces there. Tonight, I got Kathy from Nova Scotia, which is a province in Canada. And then I have all 50 states. I've heard from at least 1 or more people from all 50 states. And so I am so blessed to be able to talk to people. I've talked to over 1,000 people, and now I've also talked to all 50 states, some 2 or 3 times from the same state. I've talked to British Columbia, District of Columbia, which is Washington, D.C. And then I've talked to Mexico. And then I've also talked to, in South America, Grenada, then across the South Pacific. I've talked to New Zealand, and then Australia. I've had several states in Australia. So it's a well-diverse of people. I've had people call from South Africa. They were country code 27. I had someone from England, country code 44. And then I've had several people be my guest from Canada on my show, a mother and a daughter. And then I've had other ones call me from Canada and call me from Mexico. It's amazing how hard it is out there for people to find help with your CPS case. The child protection system in some areas is bad. And that's one thing y'all have in common, including myself. I had a bad case of CPS where it was really corrupt. And I want to tell you that it took me 3 years to get my children back. I hired Vincent Davis after I tried for a year using a court-appointed attorney, and it was just not going to happen. I'm telling you, the key to success is to hire a professional attorney. Now, in this live stream, you can do emojis, and I see a heart already. That's so nice. Kathy Ripley, thank you for the heart. And then you can also do thumbs up and smiley faces. Also, you can help support this page by sending stars. That's another option in there. And then if I'd love you to follow me, if you would check the follow button. And if you want to know when I'm on, check the notification button there. Now, if you notice at the very beginning in the comment section, it talks about not only sending stars, but you can schedule your Zoom meeting with CPS strategy consultant Vincent Davis. And there's flexible meeting sessions, and it says experience our flexible meeting sessions. Use your time as you need and schedule any remaining minutes for future use. Click the link below, which is Candly, and it says support and become a member of the YouTube channel. Now, that's another thing we're trying to do is we're trying to help support this, so become a YouTube channel. I have a ticket at the bottom of the screen, and we are trying to um, get a newsletter started. It's $1.99 a month, and it will have articles on there, articles from me, Bob Pace, and articles from Vincent Davis, how to beat CPS, and another article, how to get your children back. And there'll be other articles from other people, and then they want to look at the lives of Bob Pace, the lives of Vincent Davis, what they may have in common, so forth. There's other people that are like me that are CPS hosts that do the live streaming. We have KK Richardson in Brooklyn, New York, who comes on my show a lot. Her live stream is on Mondays. Vincent has question and answers during the week. On the weekend, on Saturdays at 10, he has the a session called Questions and Answers with Vincent Davis. So he gives more. He gives so much of his time. And so it is an imperative that you do talk to him, because he has places you could talk to him for no charge. And that sounds good. Let me move something up here. Okay. One of the things that's important is that you can text messages to me. I love to have questions or comments sent to me. All I ask is you keep it pertaining to CPS, either a question or a comment. And then also, please show me your first name, your city or country, and state and or country too. Oh, I'm sorry, the city or the county. I was reading the country twice. The city or the county, and then the state or the country. And try to be as complete with your case when you send in. The more info you can, the less we have to go back and forth playing ping pong ball. You need to talk about your situation starting from the beginning and where you're at the present. When was your last court date? When is your next court date? How did CPS get your children? And did they take your children? Or you have visitations with your children? Are you and your husband still married? Are you a boyfriend, girlfriend? Or you have other kind of relationship? Try to inform me as much as you can. So that is really, really, really good. Now, a second or a third way in this room that you can interact is to be a guest. And I love to have a guest. They're good. I've had several guests at the same time. I can have up to 9 of you. All you have to do is write to Grace, our show producer. She works really hard behind the scenes. I thank Grace. And she can be emailed at grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just put in the email, I want to be on Bob's Sunday morning show or Bob's Friday night show. Remember, it's morning or evening, and it's 7 days of the week. That's all you have to tell her. She'll in turn send you a link that you use to get on StreamYard, and use that link if you get bounced off. Also, she'll tell you the do's and don'ts of the live stream, like we don't use names of social workers or the judges or the children. We also don't eat or eat peanuts or chew gum on the show or smoke cigarettes. So she'll tell you all those things and what the best way to do there. So please try to be there, because the next thing I'll have to put up right there is my phone number. You can call and talk to me. I talk all day long, it seems like, and I'm talking more and more to people. And I do listen. I do care. I'm not an attorney, but I'm an experienced man that has been working for over 60 years. And I have lived around the world extensively. I've been to over 50 countries. I've lived in 10 of them. I've been to almost every state. I've lived in 5 or 6 states. And so I'm well versed on this world here. So my number is up there. That means I'm live. You can call me or text me during my show time. It's 626-698-0990. But only during my show time. I cannot take calls before my show time or after my show time. So now's the time. If you want to be on and talk on the show, I'll put you on speakerphone. Now, good news, whether you're a guest or you speak on my speakerphone, you will get entitled to a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. That means he'll talk to you on Zoom privately about your case, and you can ask him any questions you want. You just put a list together and prioritize it. And so that way you ask the most important questions first. And that really helps things go along smoother there with your questions. I know there are questions all the time. There's no question about that. So I'll leave my number up. I'm going to switch a new ticket banner below. I'm going to put up the. We have another way of talking to Vincent. I mentioned to you one way, which is the 15-minute private consultation. That is given to you after you talk on my live stream on the phone, you call in, or you're a guest on my live stream. And I'll offer you a chance to do that. And so I will tell you when I talk to you from on the phone, I will tell you then of how to get a live stream on Zoom with Mr. Davis. You can get your own live conference. It's a private conference, and he will talk to you. Now, I've been talking here for already almost a half an hour. I've had Kathy write one comment, which is great. I'd like to hear the news. I'm glad that some of the things may be helping her, so that is good. But I'd like to hear from the rest of you. Either text me a comment or a question about CPS or call me on my cell phone, 626-698-6990. If you call from a landline, don't forget to put 1 first in front of the 626. With cell phone calling, you don't have to do a 1. And our country code is 01. If you're calling from anywhere in the world, our country code is 01. And as I say, I've had 4 or 5 of you call me, and some of you spent a lot of money talking to me because those international calls are not cheap. But I am happy you're in here. What I wish I had a wand that I could make it all disappear and get better for you. I wish it could. It's a very complex entity. As they say, I had it here. Where did it go? Oh boy, I lost it already. I'm looking for it right now. Okay, I think I can find it another way. If you go to your history, you'll see what you looked up. I looked up something in there. Wow, it disappeared. Wow, something I typed in has disappeared. Now, it's really strange because they've been trying to protect their children since the year 1600. And, there was a case early on in the colonial period, but all through the period, the first period and the second period, it was all done by organizations that had the money, and they tried to protect the children and tried to. But in 1974, which was the pivotal when CPS's laws would start, meaning that I thought CPS had started a long time ago. And I did not hear about it because I was not in the, they didn't talk about it in high school or college. In 1974, I was in my um, fourth year of college, I think it was 68, 9, 70, 71. I was in college. I took the long road to go through college. It took 10 years. And I'm glad I did because I got to do a lot more things than I would do if I got through in 4 years. But I had to put my way through. I worked. You see, I've been working since I'm 15. I found some things I wanted, and in order to get those things, you have to do a job. And so at 18, I moved out of the house, got my apartment, and supported myself through my life and through school. I bought homes, and I've done everything all on my own. And it's been really hard. And I know that life can be so hard sometimes and everything there. Now, in 1974, President Nixon signed in the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act. It's called the CAPTA into law. That marks that marks the first significant effort of the federal government to improve responses to physical abuse and neglect and sexual abuse. That's another part. We have some really bad things that have happened and so forth. And there's a lot of history about CPS. Now, Congress in 66 enacted the Child Protection Act, expanding federal control over hazardous substance and articles. It permitted federal officials to require a warning label on all household items, and that especially with hazardous for toys and children articles. So we've been going along very, very slow. But I had thought it had started a lot sooner than that. But in 1974 is when the laws were enforceable. And at first, I think it was a good thing. At first, I think it was. But what's happened now is because the readily of money is so readily available. I mean, you have a government entity that isn't watched or supervised. There's no board of directors, there's no board of supervisors. No one watches the trillions of dollars that CPS makes from the federal government. The federal government sends billions to the state, and the state sends millions to the counties. And each state may have 1,000 counties. So it is a lot of money. They don't have to count for it. In fact, one place in Richmond, Kentucky, the cabinet there, that's what they call their CPS system, the child protection system, the cabinet, is that they were being audited by the federal government. Where did the $1 million go that was sent there? And they found part of it. They found 400,000 that was embezzled by a social worker in the CPS system, the cabinet. But the 600 will be found soon. So, but you see, the money is easy. All it does is that the county calls the state, gets a number. They have a tracking number and gets the money sent to the county. And in my case, in Orange County, my 3 children, they were paying, the state of California was paying Orange County CPS, that's Child Protection Services. They were paying them $20,000 per child per month. And that went on for 3 years. That's a lot of money. and they weren't doing what's called family reunification. In fact, President Bill Clinton changed that in 74 when he signed the Incentive Act, which says that the federal government will give more money to CPS systems, the child protection systems, if they get them adopted in foster care. They thought the family reunification that takes a year was too long, and that really hurt. That really, really hurt. And hello, the Truth Movement. Glad to see you again. It was nice to see you last night. I'm glad that you came back. The Truth Movement is from up in Washington State, and he's been in and out here a lot of times. We have Kathy from Nova Scotia, Canada, and she's been here on my live stream. And I'm glad to see her also. We will get Margaret King and Betty Joe from Montana. Margaret King is from Kern County, California. There's Amanda. There's a lot of people. There's Crystal Salazar. There's a lot of people that come in here regularly that want to help others and help other people. And I have 5 rules that I've developed. And if I had followed those 5 rules, I never would have been involved in CPS or had my children stolen from me. You see, we don't know things. I have 5 rules. Rule 1 is you get an attorney. I'm talking about a real attorney that's trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Rule 2 is you get yourself a notebook, a huge notebook, big as you can find, 3-ringer. You put your subject tabs and you put all your court papers. You got to punch holes in them. And you put all your certificates from classes you take and from programs you do, like domestic violence program, a drug rehab program, parenting classes. You put all that in the notebook. And the most important document in your notebook is going to be the incentive time log. That's where you keep track of all the incentives. It's document, document, document. That's what's so important, because you have to document everything. Who is Matt Gate? The Truth Movement can go to the key with minors. I don't know what that does with CPS. Maybe you have to translate that for me. Miners are the people that work inside of mountains that mine minerals, that take minerals out. I don't know who Matt Gate is. I know who I think a Gate is, but that I didn't know it was Matt. Okay. The Truth Movement has really been having a hard time with CPS. They've did a number to him, and he is really frustrated all day, he says. Anyway, thank you for your comments, the Truth Movement, and thank you, Catholic, too. I hope there's some more that people will come in there. But as I was talking about, my rules is that time log of incidents, you want to take 3 sentences for each incident. The first sentence will be the date, the time, the location, and the phone number and who you talk to. The second line is a summary of 1 sentence of what the incident was about. The third line is the outcome of the incident. And you skip a couple lines, you go to the next space, and you put in the next incident. You do them on a time log, the oldest first and then the newest at the very bottom. And after 6 months, you'll have many, many pages, and you'll remember by looking at your notes. The problem is, like me, I didn't take notes. I did not remember everything, and it was terrible. It was terrible. So it's important that you take notes and you do all that there. Anyway, your court papers can be hole punched and put in there. And so that notebook is very valuable for you. Now, rule number 3 is you say no to social workers from CPS coming in your home, and no to social workers that you meet outside. Same thing goes for police. Now, it is hard, but you got to understand your constitutional rights allows you to deny anybody in your home. The only way they're going to get in your home or take your children or talk to you is get a warrant. They can go to the courthouse and say they have trouble with his parent not talking to us, or we have trouble with his parent. We need to take their kids. The problem is some warrants are done loosely, and it's a shame because they're taken out of contents there. A warrant has to be on a piece of paper signed by a judge, and there's a stamp that they put on it that is raised on the paper. So it's very hard for anybody to forge something without that stamp there. And then in that warrant, to be specific directions: who the person's name, the allegations, the children's names, the date and time they can come to the house to investigate. And if the date and time is on there and it's actually a weekend or a holiday, which you know the courts don't operate on, then it's a bogus piece of paper. I'm afraid to tell you that the CPS cheats, lies, and gives false papers. Not all CPS, but the ones that are the bad ones. It's hard to tell who's bad and who isn't. Well, I can tell you right away, if they demand to go in my house, I can say, no, you can't get in my house. And I know I'm in for a big trouble here because your house is your castle. You can protect it. Now, if the warrant says they are allowed to inspect your home or take your kids or talk to you or whatever, then you have to follow the warrant. But by then, hopefully, you've gotten an attorney. The key to your success is having an attorney talk for you. How it usually is supposed to work: you got a judge who's a referee. You got counsel for CPS and counsel for the parents, counsel for the children. All right. So you have, 3 sets of counsels there. And it's supposed to be the judge and the counsels talking about your case. But CPS a lot of times will stick their nose in there when they're not supposed to. And it can be really exhausting and very tiring and so forth. And speaking of Crystal Sandoval, I was just talking about you. Crystal. I'm so glad to see you. Crystal says, love it, thankful. And then Crystal says, yes, there are bad CPS caseworkers. Tomorrow, court 6-month hearing to trial and see how it goes. Well, I'll pray for you, Crystal. I'll pray for you. Facebook comments are not, people that are on YouTube can't see the Facebook comments, I've been told. So I need to put them on the screen. And so Crystal has a court. She has tomorrow a court. I want to hear how it goes. It's a 6-month hearing to the trial. And it's, I don't know, I forgot. Crystal, what is the court for? What is the purpose of the court hearing? What's the purpose? And Kathy, do you have anything for me to say? And Truth Movement is giving examples. He's talking about a movie called Taken. Yeah, it is hard when governments go bad. I understand that, Truth Movement. Yes, Crystal. Do you know what the court is about tomorrow that you're having there? Okay. Tomorrow, the 13th, is the judgment day. It'll be a good day. I know it will be. I know it'll be a good day for you, Crystal. I've been praying you for many, many months. And so I hope it all goes well, Crystal. But she's been on and off. She's part of the family. In fact, all the people tonight have been on here before. They're all part of the family. The Truth Movement and Kathy Ripley from Canada. The Truth Movement from Washington, D.C. Crystal, I forgot where you're from. Are you from Oklahoma? I think you're from Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was a wrongful removal. I agree with what you're saying there. Um, there's vindictive social workers. In fact, I had three of my children stolen and trafficked into foster care. And yes, they were stolen. There was no danger. They were in school. How does being in school create danger? I mean, this is unreal how they stretch the imagination and take your children. Their only incentive or motive was, we need the money. We need the money. And they don't like you to say if you're a Native American Indian because there's supposedly special privileges. There's not really special privileges. It's just that when the Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, of 1978 was put into law, it said that DCF must find out from families if they are Indian, their children are Indian, and that they need to see if they're registered or could be registered. And if they are registered or they done registration, then the Indian children are put on the reservation, who in turn puts it with the family, So, as you know, I know a lot of different things. I can talk about a 388 motion or a 160 hearing. There's a lots of things that have been privy to it there. Now, Crystal says, let me put that up there so everybody can see it. Well, fighting for our lives, we'll get it together. I got all the evidence to prove it's going to be good. I know, Crystal. I believe you do. But Crystal, you're from Oklahoma, right? I'm trying to remember the state you're from. So if you could tell me, that would be great. So it is a hard thing to fight CPS. It really is. And Crystal, thank you for the love heart. I've had Kathy Ripley and Crystal Sandoval give me hearts, and I love that. That's appreciated. I know that you guys care, and I care. It's a very hard thing to go through the CPS nightmare. I tell people it's like Alice in Wonderland. You've fallen in the rabbit hole, and you've been meet the Chester Cat, and the Chester Cat sends you room after room after room, going nowhere, off with her head in the real Alice in Wonderland. But in the CPS, they will take your head off by not returning the children and not doing family reunification. Now there's very important laws with dealing with children. And by you understanding these laws and your children's rights, you will have a better how to ensure your child receives fair and equal access to their situation. There is the Individuals with Disability Education Act. There's the American with Disability Act. There's Section 504 of the Rehab Act. There's anti-bullying laws, and there's school policies. And it's very important that we understand all these. Now, we have a Protect Our Kids Act of 2012, which was not too long ago. It's Protect Our Kids, established the commission to eliminate child abuse and neglect family, to study the use of child protection services and the welfare The Child Welfare Service is under Title 4 and Title 20, block grants to states for social services of the Social Security Act to reduce fatalities from children. You know, that is a good one there, and I really want to know how the study is. I've never heard from 2012 to now a report of what they found out. I have no idea. And I have no idea why the Marine Mammal Act of 1972 is on my list of CPS. This is crazy. I'm a marine biologist, by the way. That's my profession. I'm a scientist. I've worked for many years on the research vessel Valero. But in my later years, I've been working as a civil engineer, generating sales for a company and building roads and highways, managing projects, and then I'm inspector, inspecting projects. So I've done the whole gamut. I've done the whole gamut. Now, in 1924, we finally, and there's been some revisions to it through 24 several times and 32, it was ratified. But that was to regulate and prohibits labors of persons under the age of 18. That for a long time. You can work, but you have to have permission. You have to have a work card to do that. So um, you have to really use the internet. That's my rule number 4. By using the internet, you can use a browser and learn all kinds of things about CPS. But it's how you structure your question. You start off with saying the city, then the state, then you put the letter CPS. Now, if you're in a country, you're going to put after, if you have a state or a province, you put your country and then put CPS. And what that does, it brings you up hundreds of articles. But if you want to be more specific, then you put in there, what is a 388 motion? How do we file a complaint against an attorney? What is a 160 hearing? What is the ICWA law of 1978? That way it's a little bit more specific. You can use it. But that's so important. A lot of people don't know that the internet has all your answers. You don't have to hire the internet. You can find out so much on the internet about your case and so forth. And so wherever you live, it's very important you start off with the city and then you put in the state. And again, if you're from another outside the United States, you want to put your country in. And I definitely want to help you all that. Now, yeah, Chris will remind everybody, do not sign the case plan. They are the contract. There's a lot of terminology. My rule number 3 is you don't let them in the door. You don't answer the door. Too many people have been hurt answering the door or killed answering the door. A black airman in Gainesville, Florida, was shot point blank 5 times and killed by a sheriff from Gainesville, Florida, while he's talking on FaceTime with his girlfriend. It's a mistaken identity, not identity, but a mistaken place. The sheriff was looking for domestic violence. Instead, he killed somebody. Then there's an LA sheriff in LA that shot a woman straight in the face while she was doing her dishes. Somehow she let him in, and I guess she was trying to ignore him or something, and he took a gun out and killed her point blank. Then there was a Korean lady who had some disabilities, and 2 policemen shot her. So I'm telling you, don't open the door. You don't have to. And if somebody has something to give you, they'll put it underneath your doorstep, or they'll send a message, or they'll call you. Also, your family and friends have a special knock or a special ring to open the door. So don't open the door. Don't talk to social workers. That's one of the biggest no-nos. A guy this morning said he blabbed too much. He got himself in all kinds of trouble. So you don't talk to social workers. You have your counsel talk to their counsel. Because what you say, if your attorney says it's right for you to talk to him, then talk to him, but with him present. That's another thing. If you're outside and you encountered social workers or policemen in the yard, then you can tell them, I cannot talk to you right now. I need my counsel present. And do not give up the children. They have to have a court order. They have to have a court order. Oh, yes, they can have the cops burst, but the only reason they can burst to the home is that if there's danger to the child, if the child is being physically slammed or hurt, then the police and the social workers can bust down the door. But if it isn't, they'll open up a whole can of worms because you can sue that police or the CPS for bursting into your home. They have to have a warrant. They have to have a warrant. And the best way to diffuse them all is say, hey, look, my civil rights say I need to have an attorney for all due process of what's happened here. So we're going to meet. I'm not saying I can't meet with you, but we're going to meet with my attorney present. That gives you time to find an attorney, or if you have an attorney, set it up. But don't meet at the office. Don't meet at your home. Meet at McDonald's, the library, or Starbucks. Someplace is neutral, and document everything. But again, listen to your attorney for that advice. That is so critical. Now, Crystal is saying they came out and put guns to my head as a mistaken identity in a wrongful arrest. I understand you won't let him in. They will come and burst through your door with a bulldozer. Well, they have to have good cause. Now, Crystal says, I didn't open the door. I told him that same thing you said, and they came in through and did whatever they wanted, excuse me of the crime I didn't do, accused you of the crime I didn't do. Well, first of all, you don't talk. When they knock at the door, you're quiet. They don't hear any sound, they'll eventually leave. You don't talk. What I was saying is you don't talk. You don't answer the door, but you don't talk. And if they're outside, you can very nicely tell them that I want to meet with you, but I need to have my attorney present. It's your civil rights to do so. And you have to go to internal affairs and make a police report. I know. And believe me, I did stupid things. I let a detective tell me to come to my home and open my house up. I didn't have to do that. I could tell the detective that pulled me over, either you have your officer that pulled me over give me a charge, a traffic violation, and I'm off my way. Or if you want to arrest me, then arrest me, and I'll get you for false arrest. So, you have to be really, and it's hard for a man or woman. And I did a mistake. I said, yes, officer, I will follow you. Yes, officer, I'll open the door. Yes, officer, you can take my children. My children were in school that day. One child had picked up, and he said, we're taking your children. I said, what for? And he said, well, they're in danger. In danger of what? They wouldn't, and I was stupid. I sat there and blabbed my heart out to the detective as he went through my house with a fine-tooth comb. They had 2 code enforcement people there. They had 5 firemen, 3 social workers, 2 uniformed police, and a detective. Why they need that mess, people? Because they had nothing on me. For 5 years, they were harassing me week after week from complaints from my in-laws that were doing these false reports. They weren't feeding their kids, weren't taking them to school, weren't bathing them, didn't pay for utilities, didn't do anything social with them. Anyway, it was a complete joke, a farce. but I let them intimidate me because I didn't know the law. I should have told them, you know, write me a traffic ticket or arrest me for a crime that you said I alleged did. And then when that happens, you do have to come up with a bond and it gets worse and stuff. So I thought, well, maybe I could be nice to these people, be honest with them, and show them everything. And they saw everything, and it was ridiculous what the detective did and the social workers did. They were out to get you because why? I'd spoken to the director, and I was fighting with the director of CPS. I was fighting with the supervisors. I said, what you're doing is wrong. And I kept telling them what they're doing is wrong. And they said, well, we'll get even with you. We retaliate. And they do. I had a social worker that lied in court and committed perjury. And she did revenge to us. She said, your parents, you're not going to see your child. And then she told her 12-year-old child, I want your parents, change your name, seal your birth certificate, get a new birth certificate, a new social security card, and then be adopted. And she did all the things at 12 because the social worker was mad because she lied when she was asked on the stand. My wife's sister and husband were trying to adopt our daughter. We didn't want that to happen. And so Vincent, the good attorney he is, said to her, are you good parents? And the social worker said, yes, they're great parents. Then he said, well, ma'am, I'm reading these reports. Let me read them to you. And he read report after report out of a folder he pulled out. And the face of the social worker was embarrassed because they were a police report of domestic violence, but they're physical domestic violence. So that social worker retaliated, and that's what happened. Yes, I am on here every day, Terry Harris. Where are you from? And welcome, Tareen Harris. And I'm on here twice a day, 7 days a week. I've been doing this now for already 14 months or 17 months since October 2023. And so I'm here all the time. And so anyway, Crystal, I thank you so much for what you're expressing. And Crystal says, I know the law and I know my constitutional rights and my amendments. So most people need to understand those things are very important. Study them. They'll save your life. That is so true, Crystal. Thank you for sharing that. She also said that's what was a false report. Not only one person, that could have been multiple people over a statewide call. Yeah. It was a statewide call that somebody gave over the phone. They had no probable cause, no evidence. They didn't even have a warrant. We waited 3 hours outside for a warrant. Oh, boy. You're from the Bay Area, okay, up in the Oakland area, Bay Area, okay, of California. Trent, and what is your CPS case about? And Crystal, you're many times welcome because you're a strong supporter of my live stream. And I pray for you. There's a list of people I have written down that I pray to every night. You know, I'm a strong believer of God. And, you know, we're on this earth with a circle of life. Some of us have small circles. Some have big circles. I have a big circle. I plan to live a long time. And I plan to help out others get their children back and help fighting CPS. In life, we're on a railroad tracks. The left track is your track of the circle of life. Going parallel with it is the other track. That's the track to heaven and to be with God. And then between the two tracks are wooden beams, and every so often they connect and keep you minding that you need to pursue both tracks. Anyway, that's an analogy I give there. I have a lot of life skills I can talk about. If you want to know how to work on a car or play football or do surfing or organize surfing contests, or you have a CPS matter, a divorce matter, a marriage matter, a criminal matter, or, you know, as I say, play rugby, play football, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, AYSO soccer, how to stop bullying, things like that to happen. I think life skills are so important and they're forgot about. But I think every year you're in school, you should have a life skill is being taught. And that can be happening to, the preschools, the pre-K, the kindergarten, the elementary school, the middle schools, the high school, and the colleges. All your life that you're taking classes. Anytime you're in class, you have a class in life skills. Because you're not born with the information. You have to learn. You have to learn. You went through a legal adoption. Okay. So, Tareen, were you illegally adopted? Is that what happened, Tareen? Not Tareen, Taryn Harris. I see your picture. It looks like you're a woman, which is great. And a child taken. Okay. So there was a legal adoption, a child taken. And we have Livingston Ministry. Thank you for being on again tonight. He has a CPS case. His attorney is Vincent Davis, and he comes on and does lots of prayers. He prays a lot on this live stream. He prays for everybody. His name is Yashu, and he's from California too. And I don't speak uno poquito español, and so I speak hablo inglés. And so I like everybody to speak English so everybody can understand what you're saying. So if you can speak in English, it'd be great. It'd be great. I know you're saying thank you to Vincent. Obrigado. That may not be Spanish. Are you Brazilian Portuguese? Is your background Brazilian Portuguese? Are you Portuguese? Obrigado is the Brazilian way of saying thank you. And in Portugal, it's the same way. But in Japan, it's called arigato, which is a little bit different. Arigato and obrigado. It's amazing how words sometimes are different. I speak a little bit of Japanese. I used to live there, so I've been there lots of times. I know you're hurt, Tareen, and I know it's so bad. You said that you were adopted illegally. I mean, how did you get adopted illegally? Tell me more. And by the way, my time is up, and I just looked at the clock, and I've gone too much. I've gone 11 minutes over the hours. Oh boy, I'm in trouble now. Sometimes I get carried away. I give you a full hour every twice a day. So, I want to thank you all for coming in this room. Especially good to see you, Crystal. Good luck in your court tomorrow. And she says, don't take the anger management, parenting, and drug classes. That's really justification, taking a lesser charge for a crime you didn't commit. Please don't let your kid go to the system for a year because they won't give you a deal. Don't take deals from CPS. They're corrupt. Do not take deals. And I was just saying to my Spanish friends to hire Vincent Davis because many don't know Spanish. I understand. And thank you so much. I didn't know. Isn't it gracias in Spanish? Obrigado is Brazilian Portuguese. I thought Spanish was gracias. And he said obrigado. Isn't that thank you, Vincent? Good night, Crystal. And again, thank you for showing up there. Tareen, don't panic. I'll be on again tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm on here twice a day so you guys can talk to me. And I'll be calling tomorrow with new clients from 8 to 10. And then I do my live stream from 10 to 11. Then from 11 to 1, I talk to some more new clients. So if you want to retain Mr. Davis, you can talk to me too on one-on-one. And that is my number. But I only talk on this show during the live show when it's on there. And I want to thank my friend from Nova Scotia. I can't forget you, Kathy Ripley. And then, of course, the Truth Movement. Thank you. I know you're frustrated beyond any belief. My friend, the Truth Movement from Washington State. Thank you. Thank you. I really love what all you said. God bless you all. and I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific time. That's the West Coast of California. Keep fighting for your kids, and good night. It's Bob Pace signing off.